All right, and thanks for tuning in to today's Cosmology segment. Sometimes these are integrated into our daily space weather videos since heliophysics is cosmology. The sun is the Rosetta Stone of all of cosmology, as all of stellar evolution is based on ideas about the sun. So let's get into it. Were you aware that on the daytime side of Venus, there are convective flows that cause weather to circulate toward the poles? And on the nighttime side, weather circulates toward the equator. Now, Venus is extremely hot on the sun-facing side. It's got a very, very dense atmosphere with things like sulfuric acid rain and massive quantities of carbon dioxide. It's a runaway greenhouse effect. It's a real greenhouse effect. Well, on the nighttime side, it's very, very cold. Now, Venus takes almost an entire Venetian year to make one rotation. So a day and a year are like 120 days long or something like that on Venus. And I think it's a more likely spot to actually have life than on Mars, as there is a zone on the planet where there is a sort of a ribbon of fairly normal temperatures. Now, of course, there are very high winds and so on Venus. But this is some interesting science here about infrared spectroscopy of the atmosphere of Venus. We can't really do it from Earth, so from space we can image Venus in the infrared spectrum, and that's giving us ideas into the weather patterns on the planet. Our closest neighbor, located in what's believed to be the habitable zone of El Sol, the closest star. Sombrero Galaxy makes it into the news in two different ways today. The Sombrero Galaxy is pretty famous for a couple reasons. One, it's got this supernova. You see that little bright spot right there? That's a supernova. Also, the Sombrero Galaxy apparently has some tidal strings. So, this is the astronomy picture of the day at apod.nasa.gov. A great high-resolution imagery there of the Sombrero Galaxy. And I'll scroll this down so you can pause it on the caption if you'd like to read. So here's an article about the Sombrero Galaxy, a large tidal stream observed. It's another phys.org article. We've got like 4 of them to cover today. So a massive tidal stream observed from the Sombrero Galaxy. Is it caused by a galactic merger, or is it just the jets produced by the polar region of the galaxy? Sombrero Galaxy, also known as M104, Messier object number 104. Messier was looking for objects that looked like comets but weren't comets because they weren't moving across the sky at high speeds. And of course, until Hubble, galaxies were not really recognized as such. So some deep images here of the Sombrero Galaxy, and you can see right down here this massive string. And it looks like an ellipse. Maybe we're actually seeing part of it. Does it continue up like this and we're just not able to see part of it because of dust and gas in the way? Perhaps. And let's just play this video here on mute. It looks like an ellipsis circling the entire galaxy. So that's interesting. It looks like it's showing us redshift and blue shift here. Some kind of a simulation of galactic evolution happening. Anyway, just last year, Hubble made these observations. So an interesting scenario here. I've never seen galactic jets quite like this before, as they appear to be elliptical loops. So that's another interesting one. From the phys.org Astronomy and Space section, a large tidal stream observed in the Sombrero Galaxy. Perhaps we'll have to look at that one further, as perhaps that's flying in the face of some previous science. Today's featured product is the Do Not Pole Vault the Caldera shirt in blaze orange, because nothing says don't run me over or shoot me like blaze orange clothing. So please don't pole vault the caldera. Also, orange is a good lava and magma color. It's a great color to represent hot liquid magma. So perhaps pick one up. You can find links to that on our homepage, smashamash.org, will redirect you here. You can find our social media links. And to find that particular shop, click on smAsho merch. The quality is quite high, and thanks for everybody who's been picking up merch. Also, follow us on Instagram. Get us to 500 followers. We've only been doing Instagram for like 6 years, and we're not even at 500 followers. Today's random object is number 505 at the Neil Gehrels Swift-Bat X-ray Observatory. It's a cataclysmic variable, IGR J15094-6649. That's J15094-6649. The cataclysmic variable. And we just saw some extremely strong X-ray outputs from it here just a few days ago, like about a week ago. Massive X-ray burst from this cataclysmic variable star. Here's an article about it. We actually already shared it with our patrons. And here is that star in X-ray. So there you can see the false color images of X-ray. It's showing you red is the lower frequency, then green is the middle X-ray band, and then blue is the highest frequency X-ray band. That's 2 to 4.5 kiloelectron volts. Here it is in UV. You see it looks completely different, and it's a little bit off-center, an indication that the plasma structure isn't perfectly symmetrical from the perspective of us. And there's probably a jet pointed toward us, as this is a confirmed polar. Here it is in the 2-mass infrared light, and it's looking pretty symmetrical there. And here it is in optical color bands. And that's today's quote random end quote object, IGR J15094-6649. And if you want to look it up yourself, again, it's number 505 at the Neil Gehrels Swift-Bat X-ray Observatory, the Burst Alert Telescope. Also, perhaps consider becoming a top patron as we share all kinds of other stuff with our top-tier patrons. And let's close out the cosmology segment with our flyby from Juno of Ganymede and Jupiter. An absolutely spectacular series of imagery here, also on the phys.org Astronomy and Space section. We're letting the article scroll here. We're going to scroll down and show you some fantastic visuals here. The flyby of Ganymede and Jupiter, complete with zero music, because we don't want a copyright strike. As when our videos get demonetized, we pull them down off of YouTube and don't allow anybody to watch them, because that buries our channel in search, causes them not to be recommended, and so on. So check out the imagery here. Fantastic. And Ganymede is one of the most likely places to have a massive underwater ocean. In fact, it could be the big underground ocean, I'll say. This actually could be the largest ocean in the whole solar system. And it's pretty much the only explanation for all of those apparent cracks on the surface. Ganymede, one of the more interesting objects in the solar system, in that perhaps it hosts life. Is there some sort of internal dynamo or other heating mechanism allowing for liquid water inside of that outer cracked shell? Anyway, here's some imagery of planet Earth from Juno as well. And that's today's cosmology segment. Thanks for tuning in. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. smAsho, signing off from the Smash News Network, least busted. Name it news.